Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman. Welcome to Illustrate to Educate. Don't forget to subscribe for simple, objective videos on topics that matter. The conflict between China and Taiwan has been heating up recently. In this video, we'll cover the basics you should know so you can be better informed about events moving forward. First, let's take a look at the early history of Taiwan. The island of Taiwan first appeared on Chinese records back in 239 AD when the emperor sent an expeditionary force to explore the area. After a short time as a Dutch colony in 1624 to 1661, Taiwan was ruled under China's Qing dynasty from 1683 to 1895. It was during the 17th century that two groups of migrants, the Hoklo and the Hakka Chinese, came to Taiwan fleeing hardship and are now the largest demographic descendants on the island. In 1895, Japan won the First Sino-Japanese War and the Qing government had to cede the island of Taiwan to Japan. After the events of World War II, Japan surrendered back control of the Taiwan territory. The Republic of China, or ROC, the governing entity at the time, began ruling Taiwan with the consent of its allies, the US and UK. Within a few years, a civil war broke out in China, and the then leader Chiang Kai-shek's troops were beaten back by Mao Zedong's communist armies. This began the communist government entity called the People's Republic of China, or the PRC. Chiang Kai-shek, the president of the Republic of China, fled with his supporters to Taiwan in 1949. Both the ROC and PRC claimed that they were the true authority of the island. This caused decades of hostility with no travel, trade, or communication between the two sides. In the 80s and 90s, relations improved under a concept known as one country, two systems, where Taiwan was given significant autonomy if it accepted Chinese reunification. Although Taiwan didn't fully accept the idea, they cooperated economically and culturally. Through the span of several leaders and constitutional changes, the island elected its first president from the Democratic Progressive Party, President Chen Shui-bian, in 2000. Beijing was alarmed because Chen had openly backed independence for Taiwan. A year after Chen was re-elected in 2004, China passed a so-called anti-secession law, stating China's right to use non-peaceful means against Taiwan if it tried to secede from China. Chen was succeeded by Mao Zedong, who, after taking office in 2008, sought to improve relations with China through economic agreements. 8 years later, in 2016, Taiwan's current president, Tsai Ing-wen, was elected. She had led the Democratic Progressive Party, which had been known to support official independence from China. Throughout 2018, China began enforcing international companies to list Taiwan as part of China on their websites, and threatening to block them from doing business in China if they failed to comply. In 2020, Ms. Tsai won a second term in Taiwan, while Taiwan kept a close eye on Hong Kong, where there continued to be months of unrest, with protesters demonstrating against the mainland's increasing influence. Later that year, China reasserted its influence by adding a national security law in Hong Kong that criminalized any act of secession, subversion or undermining the power of the central government, terrorism, or collusion with foreign or external forces. The United States has no formal diplomatic relations with Taiwan, but has shown commitment to their defense and also preserving peace in the Western Pacific. In November 2021, Biden made it clear that the U.S. is not encouraging Taiwan's independence and supports the Taiwan Act of 1979. In that act, it states that the peace and stability in the area are in the political and security and economic interests of the United States, and that the U.S. can provide arms of defensive character if anything jeopardizes the security or social or economic system of the people of Taiwan. At a virtual summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping, Biden reaffirmed the U.S. One China policy that recognizes Beijing's claim of sovereignty but allows for U.S. defensive ties with Taiwan. According to a readout from China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it stated that Xi told Biden his country would be compelled to take resolute measures if separatist forces in Taiwan cross a red line. Despite all this, pressure has been building between China and Taiwan, with the past year seeing a record number of Chinese warplane incursions sent into Taiwan's air defense zone. Some experts believe that a Chinese invasion of Taiwan is much closer than we think. Did you find this video to be helpful in understanding the China-Taiwan conflict? If so, hit that like button, subscribe to Illustrate to Educate, and share this video with others. If you liked this video, be sure to check out some of my other simple and objective videos to the right.